Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes. To the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, here are your hosts, Kellen, Garrett, Gannon, and coming to you from the Foxx Den, their dad, Todd Foxx.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. For all my kiddos except for Gannon, I'm Todd Foxx, and we've got a lot to talk about today for the Oklahoma Sooners beating Tulane this past Saturday. About 48 hours ago. And it looked okay for a while, kind of a tale of two halves. The first half was really well, second half not so much. And Sooners were able to hold on with the victory. So what do you guys have? Let's hear some things that you hear that you have regarding that game. Any thoughts?
I think tale of two halves. I mean, considering that's what I said on Saturday, you just stole it. I think that's a perfect way to describe it. So first half, I would have given that a solid A for that game. I mean, for the fact that we scored, 21, that offense only got 6 on us, that, I would have taken that as a win for sure. And then you come out in the second half and they put up like 19 straight, or not 19, 13 straight. It's just pathetic. But overall defense, I was very, very happy with the defense. Offense came out, rolling at first. And then just spreading the ball out, getting outside the numbers, getting it into our playmakers' hands and letting them do something instead of just handing the ball off and expecting the offensive line just to magically make a hole whenever they're just not going to do that this year. I think we need to, get that through our minds that we're just not good at the offensive line and we're going to have to deal with it and come up with a system that makes the ball out of Arnold's hand quicker. Outside runs were pretty solid as well, but yeah, I would say overall I'd give it like a high C, low B because we got the win and Tulane's a pretty good team. But that second half was just
brutal.
It was rough.
Kellen, Callie, either of you got anything about the game? Initial thoughts?
I feel like it's just the same thing it's been every other week. Great defense. Terrible play calling, so it makes our offense just look weak. If he is saving something for the big teams, I'd rather he go ahead and use it because I'm not really a fan of going in and now we start using our playbook against a good team and we've never done these plays before outside of practice. But if not, we're in for a world of hurt if this is the best that our coordinator can do. I mean, we're just wasting talent, wasting Jackson Arnold back there and not giving him a real chance. First half looked decent, but we just got to be more aggressive out there. It's pathetic.
Little C, what about you?
I mean, just everything that they said, to be honest. First half good, second half scary.
It was scary, to say the least. It wasn't fun. It was very hot at the game as well. It's just disappointing second half. And I still go back to, I can sit there and continue to say, okay, hey, we've got a lot of injuries. We were talking about that on the way there and maybe the way back also, how many other teams could go through some of these big injuries that we have. Can't use that as an excuse, but we have a lot of receivers hurt. We got to get Nick Anderson back. Hopefully that would definitely help. I don't see it's not going to hurt, but the whole thing is we got to give Arnold time to throw, but he's also got to get rid of the ball much quicker. But then again, maybe the reason why he's not getting it much quicker is because there's not a whole lot of separation. There were a few drop balls. I know Burks had a couple, one for sure that I remember. I think another one as well. That was unfortunate. But this team, bottom line is we won. Any win's a good win. It's just maybe the way it's going about it, right? What's funny is last year we were doing fairly well, but then Oklahoma State was doing terrible at the beginning of the year. They couldn't run the ball and any of this kind of stuff, and people were roasting them. Now it's kind of flip-flopped, where it's us. that's having the issue. And then when's the last time like we've talked about defense for, like in three podcasts in a row for Oklahoma? It's usually offense.
Well, I was about to say on that note, like we're usually, on the way home complaining because we scored 60 points, but they scored 50. I don't care who we're playing. They always seem to score that much. And we were talking about how, we need to get our defense fixed. Our offense is rolling. And it's just the different, system. And I think it's unfortunate because, granted, our offense is well below average. Our offense is 105th in the country. So you'd hope that it would be at least, top 50 is not even a lot to ask for Oklahoma, honestly. But anyways, no, it's just a different era with Venables. It's what you would expect with Venables on the defensive side. But yeah, offensively, it's a bigger struggle now, I think, than we had at defense with Lincoln.
Really? Okay.
I don't think Lincoln's defenses were ever in the hundreds.
They weren't good.
They weren't good, but they weren't in the hundreds.
I think now I would be. I think Grinch had some of them in the hundreds for sure. They were absolute garbage back then. You couldn't stop anybody. Which, if I had to, I would rather have a strong defense and then more than anything. But obviously, we got to score points. We got to have a functional offensive line. Our offensive line is absolute trash right now. I don't know if you saw, but I went back and watched a little bit of it, and I know you did as well. But it was showing each offensive lineman. This was their third career start, third start. I think one of them had 2 starts. This is their second. So just goes to show you, it's not they're not cohesive. They haven't worked well or worked with one another enough to get any kind of rhythm and teamwork or whatever you want to call it. But it's been an issue. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Good talk.
It's just unfortunate. Absolutely. You would hope with the transfer portal that you wouldn't be weak at a position at Oklahoma, but unfortunately we are. But also too, again, going back to the defense, like we had 2 turnovers, forced 2 turnovers, dropped 2 that I think would have both been touchdowns. So, you got to take that. That's because like last year we led the country in interceptions, and that's because the year before we dropped the most interceptions in the country, at least one of the highest. So they worked on that tremendously, which led to, being the best turnover team in the country on interceptions. 2 dropped ones are rough this past week. I don't expect us to keep doing that, but no, our defense is going to keep, forcing some turnovers. So, but the biggest thing, and I think Kellen mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but like most of our points this year on offense have come off of turnovers. So, one, continuing to capitalize on those are absolutely huge. But also, like, you have got to get something rolling whenever you're on, your own 20 on a normal starting point. Like, you have got to.
We can't rely on turnovers against these good teams. Our defense is great, but there's going to come a point when they're on the field 75% of the game, they're going to get tired. And we just can't let our defense bail us out every single week.
No, most definitely. And I think it's a good, solid defense. I'm anxious to see how good we really, truly are when we go up against some of these top offenses. And Tennessee coming up, we'll talk about that here shortly, will definitely be one of the biggest challenges and the biggest challenge to this point. But one thing I wanted to discuss real quick is Jackson Arnold. I think he carried the ball 14 times for maybe 97 yards, something like that. He was our leading rusher. We can't have him doing that. Like, he can't be obviously we want to win and we want to try to get the yards while we can, any way we can. But I don't think that's sustainable having a quarterback continually run like that, because he's going to get popped at one point. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but we've got to change something. But I don't see anything changing with any of the other running backs. Sawchuk, I don't know what's happened to him. Barnes, and then Tatum. What are your thoughts about Jackson Arnold leading the team in rushing? Of course, it was one big run, I think a 45-yard run also, but what do you think?
Not ideal. I mean, you look at the history of the Heisman for quarterbacks, most of those quarterbacks are pretty mobile in playmakers. And I don't feel like, so far, I have not seen anything from Jackson of him like getting out of the pocket and making anything happen with his arm. Like, I just have not seen him do anything, which is pretty deflating. But I mean, he seems to do good of stepping up in the pocket and getting, 5, 15 yards here and there. But I do agree. I think we have way too many quarterback option runs. And I get, again, if you have a mobile quarterback, you have to utilize it. But I don't know. I'd love if he didn't have to take that many hits.
Sure. Callie, any thoughts on Arnold continually running the ball?
I mean, if our offensive line can't protect him, they're not going to be able to create space for the running backs. So I don't think it's all on the running backs. I feel like a lot of it's going down to that offensive line. But
Sure.
I agree with the running back room that we have. Jackson Arnold should not be the one leading the pack. But as long as he's smart with it and knows how to slide, more power to him. But all it takes is one shot.
Yeah, true. Callie, what do you think?
I mean, I think if somebody told me that one of the players had a 47-yard run down the field, the last person I'd think that would have done it would be the quarterback. So I think they just kind of need to figure that out, especially just the offensive line, like you guys were saying. I mean, they can't make any space for the running backs. I don't know how far they're expecting them to run, but they're getting like 2 yards per run. So
yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. I'll tell you one thing that was kind of interesting. I don't know if you noticed, but like when the game, I'm not saying on the line, but towards end of the game, did you guys notice what running back was in?
Tatum.
Tatum. Freshman. Was a guy in the game, so that's pretty impressive to see him out there. He scored. I know he had a couple touchdowns that game, but I think it bodes well for him. We just got to get that line to get some holes to open up because they did not do it again. I know, again, the first half wasn't bad. First half wasn't bad at all, and I don't know if Tulane did some sort of adjustments, and we did not capitalize on any adjustments, but it was almost like we played to try not to lose. We were trying to just get out of there with a win. And I want to see me personally, I want to see us just keep pushing that ball down the field. I think we need to throw more slants. We need to throw some fades. Obviously, our receivers have got to get open.
But here's the thing, though, also on Arnold is what's the longest pass he's completed of air yards? Like, it was probably that first pass of the season.
First pass of the season, Farouk.
And outside of that, I mean, he's overthrowing these guys by 5-10 yards. And I was thinking this the other day, like, he reminds me of rookie Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen has an absolute cannon, but his rookie year, he could not figure out how to. I mean, he was overthrowing guys tremendously. Sure. So he's got the arm talent and the strength. He just has to put some touch on it to get it to drop in their arm. But I mean, he cannot hit a single pass, I feel like, over 15 yards when a guy's going straight. If they're coming in, he can hit that. But no, I want to see him hit a few of those, and I know his confidence would go through the roof, but he has to hit a couple of those if we want to hit those deep plays, because I know we all want them and we need them, but
sure,
one, they haven't been there, and the few times they have been, he's missing it.
Did you think that was a targeting against that Tulane defensive back? I didn't think it was. I mean, I obviously called it, but there was contact, but
I don't think it was targeting. I don't think it was a touchdown on that 4th and goal or whatever. I don't think they missed a holding call. I mean, the refs were definitely iffy today. I know last week I felt like they were for us, but this week, not necessarily against us, but they missed a couple of key plays, I think.
Gotcha. And then how in the world, tell me how this happens. We make a field goal. Was it a 50-yarder that our field goal kicker made, but we had a delay of game penalty, and I think we still had 3 timeouts. Like, why wasn't a timeout called on our side? But, I mean, how in the world does little things like that continually seem like they happen? It's coaching, right? I mean, that there, I think, is probably on Brent. I don't know what your all thoughts are, but that's a Brent problem that he's got to get fixed, because I'm telling you, some of that stuff's going to come back to haunt us. And we're, like I said a minute ago, we're 3-0. I'll take it. It's not ugly. I mean, it's not pretty. It's definitely ugly, but I'll take a ugly win over a pretty loss any day. I don't know about you. Well, let's move on to Tennessee's coming to town. 6:30 p.m. kickoff. And Norman, Josh Heupel brings his – there you got the number 2 ranked offense and the number 2 ranked defense coming in to play against our 100. I have 108th. You said you had 105th ranked offense, and then our defense is ranked 27th total. Outcome. I know I'm not score predictions just yet, but what in the world do we have to do in order to win this ball game?
Well, I mean, I think number one, you have to continue to create turnovers. We're not going to get any pressure on the quarterback. We just need to realize that our defensive line's never going to do that. So we'll just continue to cover well and force him to make poor reads. Get that ball out of the hands. We had 5 or 6 forced fumbles on the year so far, so a couple of those would be absolutely huge. Right. But I mean, this is his biggest game of his career as well. He's freshman, 4th game starting, so definitely forcing him again. Couple turnovers. He's got 2 on the year so far, and capitalizing on those turnovers, I think, is just number one.
I think we just got to get the defense just has to make them uncomfortable, make them change their game plan. Turnovers, obviously, but I think we just got to be constantly stopping whatever they're trying to do, make them think twice. Offense, we just have to get rolling. We got to get the run game going. We need to hit a couple of deep passes, just show them what we're capable of on every end. If we hit a couple deep passes and get the run game going, short to medium passes are going to be easy for the offense. But I mean, I just hope we can get our offense rolling, because our defense can't, just like last year, can't carry us forever.
No. We'll see. What do you got?
I mean, along with everything you guys said, I'd want to see a different running back starting, because, I mean, Tatum and Barnes, they both had more yards than Sawchuk did themselves. I mean, Tatum had 2 touchdowns, so, I mean, Tatum starting would be good, but maybe Barnes, because he had more yards. But I don't know, I just don't really think Sawchuk should be starting this week after his performance last week.
Right.
Also, they have one of the best defensive lines in the country, along with the number 1 prospect in the country coming off the edge. So figuring out how you can try and minimize their impact. I don't think you're necessarily going to eliminate it by any means, but minimize it to where we can give Arnold at least a couple seconds. Like, I don't even feel like that's hard to ask. We haven't done it this year, but give him a couple seconds, make at least a couple reads, and go from there. But their defensive line is very, very, very good.
NFL talented, for sure. Most likely. I want to see us. I don't know how we would do it, but we got to control the ball. We can't give them short fields. We can't go 3 and out on our side of the field and give them, start from their 40, 45, even a midfield. We can't give them a short field. And in order to do that, we're going to have to get first downs, try to get, I mean, obviously easy for me to say, but get, at least 1 to 2, even 3 first downs per drive to make Tennessee have to go downfield. I'd love to see us have time of possession in our favor. The only way I see that happening is if we can run the football, or if they score so fast, and then we're always out there. But I just don't want to see that happen either. I am anxious to see how our defense performs against a higher powered offense. Now, let's not act like they played a whole lot of people. They played what is it, Chattanooga, Kent State. Kent State's the worst offensive team in the country, and I believe it was NC State the other game, which NC State is an okay team. I think they were probably – I mean, if them and Tulane played, it may be a pretty decent game.
I think Tulane would win that. That's what I was just about to say. Is I mean, granted, they have won their schedule better than we have, so I'm not saying that. But our schedules are pretty comparable of them not playing anybody at all either. So
Right. And we don't have, a defensive line like they do yet. I think that defensive line they have is is probably what we're going to have
next year.
You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But we got to eliminate turnovers. That interception that Jackson Arnold threw for the touchdown was obviously complete inexperience on his part. But then there's a lot of times I see the crowd and myself even at times be like, "You got to throw it. You got to throw it. You got to throw it." Well, that's what happens sometimes when you throw it, when you're out of, you're just in desperation trying to get rid of it. That's why a lot of times you see him hold on to the ball. So we want to make sure we eliminate that. I say it every week. I just I don't know how it's going to happen. We've got to get pressure on the quarterback. We've got to be able to do it with the front four. I don't know how. I don't know if it can be done without bringing the blitz, but whatever we can do to stop the quarterback. And their quarterback he's mobile, correct? If I'm not
he
mistaken.
is mobile. Yeah.
We
mobile.
always seem to have an issue with mobile quarterbacks, the guys that can move around in the pocket. Like the Houston quarterback was pretty good at moving around.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot. I mean, this is just more so a guess, and I wouldn't mind seeing it. But I think you'll see a lot of like Kanik in there. You'll see Kip in there. Kip obviously starts, but Kanik might be able to actually track him down with his speed because Nico's a quick quarterback, not very quick. So Stutzman, as good as he is, even if you put him on a spy, I don't know how he would do tracking him down. Maybe you drop Peyton Bowen down, have him watch him a little bit. I think he would, win that matchup 9 out of 10 times. But yeah, like you said, we struggle with it, especially letting him get out of the pocket and then seeing a busted coverage. Yeah, I agree. You gotta keep an eye on that.
And then they've got they've got a really good running game. Looking at this, they average, and again, think about the competition, but still, regardless, they've done it and we haven't. They're averaging 693 yards a game total offense. And they're number 23rd in passing with 303 yards a game, and they're number 3 in rushing, 336 yards per game. So they're going to try to run the football. I think you'll see them continually trying to run that football the entire game. I don't think we'll see them stop at any point. I think they're going to continue. Now, if we're up, by 14, 21 points, and I think you'll see obviously a lot more passing. But we heard it on the way home. I feel, and I kind of agree with this. I would see this being not so much a 44-40 game as much as I would see I would like a 24-20 type of game. Does that make sense? I think it's going to be a lot lower scoring than maybe some people think, or obviously in years past. I don't know what your thoughts on that are. Do you have any? You want to do predictions now, or you want to do it later? What do you want to do? Because it's going to be a interesting game for sure.
Might as well
go for it. What do you got? Who do you see winning, and what do you think the score is going to be?
I think the home field advantage. Hopefully, we show up more than we have this year and ever have, because it's been pretty pathetic this year. But home field advantage is going to go a long way for us. So, and Nico's experience of playing an away game of this caliber is going to play a factor as well. I think Oklahoma takes the win. I think I'll go 31-24.
Wow. Okay. Callan or Callie, either one of you?
I was going to say we win 31-28. I think pretty close. I'm never going to predict that we lose, and I think we should win. I think we have a great defense, home field advantage, 2 young quarterbacks. So I think with the 2 young quarterbacks, home field advantage, and our defense, the tide tips our way. And, yeah, we're going to get out there and do it this week.
What do you got, C?
I think we win 28-24.
Okay. Well, if Oklahoma does the things that I'm saying, and most of us are saying, control the line of scrimmage, being able to rush the passer, put some pressure on the quarterback, minimal turnovers. Watch that win the turnover battle, time of possession, all that kind of stuff. I see. My prediction would be Oklahoma 26, Tennessee 23. I think we'll see some teams hold, and I think this will be a lot of field goals perhaps in this game. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be tough. Heupel, he mentioned, I don't know if you guys heard on his radio show or not radio show, but his weekly press conference that he thinks OU fans will be very nice and not be loud while the Tennessee offense is on the field. So we've got to make sure everybody's cranked up. And that's another thing we were talking about.
Being nice.
Yeah. He said they're going to be respectful, I believe is the actual verbiage. But regardless, as we were watching some of these other games like South Carolina, their crowd really, Auburn, LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, all these, our crowd has got to ramp it up, specifically the students.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I went through and looked kind of just from game. I've never been to any of these other games, so I can't say. But watching on TV and then also watching an Oklahoma game on TV, I can say I'm pretty confident in this. I think the only teams we have beat in the SEC of just from home field advantage and crowd and everything is Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Mizzou. Those are the only teams in the country or in the SEC that I think we have an advantage for at home. And it's pathetic. And I know Traber already said it, and I saw Gabe Eichert mentioned it on Twitter. Like the student section, if you want to go be, immature and go get hammered for the day, wait until at least after the game. It's absolutely just sickening to look over there in the third quarter in a one possession game and the entire student section is gone. It's absolutely pathetic. And then we go home that night. You see Texas playing against UTSA, beating them by 50, and they're talking about how the whole student section is still there and screaming and yelling. And it's just, if we want to expect the team on the field to compete with the players in the SEC, we also have to. And I don't know. It just made me so mad, and I just hated it. Don't be the guy who sat next to me and asked the dude in front of him to sit down in the first quarter. If you're going to be like that, stay home and let someone else have your seat that wants to be there and make a difference, because it's pathetic.
No, I agree 100%. Those students, don't even give them tickets. There's people that are wanting season tickets. There's people that are wanting tickets that'll go to those games. Heck, give them to somebody, whatever. But you've got to show up. You've got to be loud. We've got to, our crowd versus some of these other ones just watching, is non-existent. I don't know why. I can only envision, there's been some games, big games, where we've been, rocking and really into it. But we've got to set the tone, help this team out. It's intimidating atmosphere, I guess is what I'm trying to say. A&M, dadgum, that place is scary. I don't care if they're 6-6 or whatever, record. They're still an intimidating place to go play, regardless. And we've got to be able to, we've got to do better. The whole student section, all the fans, be better. Get up, get loud, be loud, and let's see what we can do.
Another quick thing too, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but Cam Ward was talking about Florida's crowd, and he's like, after we get out of the huddle, that's we already know what we're playing, so why start screaming then? And that's what I've noticed too, and I'll do it sometimes as well, but we can't just sit there and wait until they line up and to start screaming. They already know what their play is. Right. Now, I know if he's doing adjustments and stuff, it can play a factor, but I want the second they step on that field, them to have no idea what the other person's saying, because that can cause a lot of confusion, a couple of delay of games, late clock. We can make a difference, and I think we can. It's just it hasn't been up to par at all.
College game day will be at the Norman field. I don't know if it's actually the field. I don't know if we found out exactly where it's going to be, but I think I could be wrong. Is this the first time since Notre Dame that they've been there?
In Norman.
In Norman? Yeah, right. So that's been several years. Oklahoma, for the first time since 1998, is like a 7-point underdog in this game against Tennessee. I know the over-under is 57.5. But the last time we were was 1998 against Texas Tech. They were favored by more than 7, and we actually won that football game. I was there. They had a running back by the name of I can't remember if it was Bam Morris or it may have been. It was before him. It was after him. They had a running back that was really, really good, and we knocked him out in like the first quarter. But regardless, who do you think could be the picker for Oklahoma this week? Who would you like to see be the one that comes in and sets up there with the game day crew?
Seen a few people say Peterson. I would love to see Adrian Peterson on there.
Yeah.
Maybe Bosworth. Little Bosworth would be fun.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, sometimes they do singers, but I don't really know.
I've heard Patty Gasso, but then I just don't know if she's well known throughout the country as some of these other people might be. But I want to see Switzer. Get Barry Switzer up there. That's who I'd love to see.
That's just another Lee Corso up there.
I get it, but the guy is one of the funniest guys in the world. He would bust chops on Saban and all these guys. I think it'd be pretty funny. But that's who I would like to see. Because, I don't think it would be Stoops. I don't think it'd be him. Callie, Garrett, or Kellen, any of you, any thoughts on who you would like to see be the guest picker?
My top 3 will all be playing on Sunday, so they can't they can't make it.
True.
So I'd say
True.
I would just say Stoops at that point. But, I would love Baker, but we know, it's not going to happen. So
I've heard Gerald McCoy's name thrown around a little bit, which he still owes us a podcast. Callie, what do you think? What do you got?
I mean, I'd want it to be Stoops, but I think it's more likely to be somebody else.
Sure. It'll be fun. You guys probably don't. Do you remember, Kellen, going to the Notre Dame? You do. Garrett, vaguely or no? I know Gannon doesn't remember.
It's a terrible
That was
day.
pretty cool. We got there early, then we went back and then came back. It was cold. I don't know if you guys remember. It was cold. I know Gannon got on the TV because that camera came sweeping through and he was on my shoulders. But I remember, I think it was Garrett after when we were going back to the car, asked me, "Hey, do you think OU will win?" I said, "Oh yeah, I had no doubt we'd beat Notre Dame, and I think we lost like 30-13." But Belldozer
lost Harden all at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly right. I forgot all about that. But yeah, it'll be. We'll find out soon, I guess, where we'll be. I don't know if we'll be in the same area or what. It'll be fun to be at. A little bit of atmosphere, a little bit of craziness, a little bit of rowdiness. We got to get everybody going. We got to get everybody going nuts. And again, this is the first time in a long time that OU's even been underdogs. I know we were underdogs in 2000 against Nebraska, but I don't think it was by maybe 3 points. And we turned around and we won that contest. But it'll be a good game. Oklahoma, Tennessee. Josh Heupel, the man who helped us bring a national championship home in 2000. It's been too long. It's time to. But hey, I don't know if you guys saw Stoops put out a tweet today saying he respects both of Venables and Heupel and loves them both and all that kind of stuff, and said Heupel was the most valuable player he ever got recruited to Oklahoma because he helped start this dominance that we've had throughout the years. But he said he'll always be Boomer Sooner, so he's going to be rooting for the Sooners for sure. But let's see. Let's go Oklahoma. All right, one question for all of you. It's a ranking of questions. Tell me without knowing what comes next, 1 through 5, on this question I've got for you. You ready? Breakfast foods, okay? Breakfast meal type of thing. Rank them 1 through 5 without knowing what comes next. Bacon and eggs. Good old bacon and eggs. Where's that rank for you from 1 through 5?
4.
4. I love it, but it's very basic.
Okay. Biscuits and gravy.
Number 1.
2.
Pancakes or waffles and sausage?
5.
3.
With some good syrup.
Some Griffins.
3.
Griffin syrup. What's that?
Not
Cal?
whatever that.
3.
3. What about a good old breakfast sandwich?
1.
2.
5, but I
2.
can make a mean breakfast sandwich.
All right. And then number 5, which chicken fried steak with hash browns.
1.
3.
5.
Number 1.
I knew it
Number
was coming.
1.
That's why I
Chicken
saved
fry and hash browns. Little over easy eggs. Crack them open a little bit. Let the
half a bottle of
yolk
Louisiana
run.
hot sauce.
Little Louisiana hot sauce all over the hash browns, and then a little biscuit gravy over there to the side. Oh my goodness!
But
there's
it
nothing
wasn't.
better.
It wasn't all of it. It was chicken
No, I'm
fried
just
steak
gonna
and
eat it
hash
all.
browns, or
I'll eat it
biscuits
all.
and gravy.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't know the
That,
hot
that's
sauce
at the
came
top
with it.
5, but he eats all of that every day for breakfast.
I eat it regardless.
Yeah.
I'll eat it regardless. But no, Fox Den Sports Podcast would like to thank everyone for making us a part of your day. We want to make sure everybody understands to follow us and subscribe to us. Subscribe on YouTube channel. You'll hear all that information. Stay a little later towards the end, and you'll be able to hear it. But I got to remind everybody that iron sharpens iron.
Please stay safe.
Be savage and not average.
And remember to join the skulk.
And until next time, Kellen, take it away.
Goodbye, everybody.
Everybody. Boomer.
Thank you for listening to the Fox Den Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Fox Den Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Fox Den Sports and on Facebook at Fox Den Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxdensports@yahoo.com. This has been Fox Den Sports.